Welcome back to the channel, guys, to another review of Monday Night Raw. You know, Monday Night Raw, I will actually say Monday Night Raw was actually much better than what we've gotten in the previous weeks. Now, I'm not gullible or anything. I'm not saying, oh, the opening segment. Well, the opening segment was actually quite enjoyable for what it was. But you know, Vince came out. I knew the fans. I knew the fans were not going to boo Vince. There was no way he was going to be booed. And Stephanie came out. Surprising she got cheered. I think that was the biggest surprise for me, that Stephanie McMahon was actually being cheered. Because normally people hate Stephanie. Stephanie's the one McMahon I think a lot of people hate. And I'm surprised she actually got cheered. Triple H, he also came out. It looks like he had his little injury healed up. But then Shane McMahon comes out. Now, a lot of people were wondering why the hell is Shane there? Like, you know, he's SmackDown's commissioner. Now, yeah, I agree that is sort of confusing. Give me a sec. Then they pretty much talk about what they're gonna do. That they're pretty much saying that they have been making some bad decisions and they want to fix things. And they say that they're gonna take over Raw and SmackDown Live. And Triple H said that we, the fans, are the authority. Well, Triple H, if we are the authority, then please turn Alexa Bliss face. Because I really want to see a face Alexa Bliss. Funny, and she wasn't even on the show. Alexa Bliss wasn't even on the show this week. I find that kind of ironic. But, you know, this is not about her. This is not about her. I just wanted to say that because Triple H says that we are the authority. And also turn Ronda Rousey heel. That's another thing I would want. Mr. Hunter, since I am now the authority. Since we are the authority, I want Ronda heel. Then Baron Corbin comes out. He gets booed out of the building. He begs for his job. And, you know, I will actually admit, I'm glad I didn't do this review right away, because I wouldn't have analyzed this better. But I gotta agree that why is Baron Corbin begging for his job? He was pretty much complaining about how it wasn't fair, that, you know, he was being jumped, and, you know, he thought it wasn't fair that he had a 4-on-1 disadvantage. But you know, Corbin, you do realize you were doing that yourself. You did that yourself, but you thought it was okay. See, that's the thing I don't get when it comes to, like, I understand he's a heel. I understand that's what heels do, they complain, but when they do it, they think it's cool and they think it's fun. But then when the babyfaces fight back, and then the heel just complains to the higher-ups. So, Corbin brought that on himself for bullying everybody. But Vince says, alright, Corbin, you'll get another shot to become the permanent general manager. So, what was the whole point of that TLC match then? What was the whole point of that TLC match if we were just going to get this again? Stephanie McMahon said that she told Corbin that you had to beat Braun Strowman. You know, I think a lot of people are giving Stephanie a bit of flack. Because, you know, a lot of people look at her as the worst McMahon because of her cringy, like, voice, and, you know, she comes off forced on the microphone. But I think people need to respect Stephanie, that, You know, she's really helping out in the women's division. You know, I think a lot of people need to give her a bit more respect. That's just my opinion. You don't have to like Stephanie, but you should at least respect what she's doing for the women's divisions, at least. Because she's going to be the one to introduce those women's tag team titles when the timing is right. So yeah, then they book Baron Corbin in a match with Kurt Angle. 1-on-1. Then Triple H comes out and he says, oh, by the way, it's a handicap match. And out comes Apollo Crews and Rude and Gable. And then Shane comes out and he says, oh, by the way, it's a no disqualification match. And then all the guys just grab chairs and start bashing Corbin with it. So they were pretty much doing what Corbin was doing to the faces. Pretty much burying Baron Corbin. Because it was fine at TLC. Them doing it at TLC was fine, but they didn't have to do it again. Corbin, you know, I'm glad he's not an authority figure anymore. Because I know Baron Corbin has a lot of potential to be a future, you know, like, I think the Intercontinental title will look good on Baron Corbin. You know, I also think, you know, if he's a future world champion as well, he's a future world champion as well. So, I definitely see that in Corbin. I do see that in Corbin. So it is good that he's no longer an authority figure. I like to see Baron Corbin get out of those authority figure like clothes and go back to his original attire with the lone wolf shirt and the pants. I'd like to see him go back to that style. But either way, Baron Corbin loses in this handicap match, and he's pretty much done. Finn Balor versus Dolph Ziggler. This was a pretty good match. I actually quite enjoyed this match for what it was. Just, you know, it was like about 5 minutes. These two were putting on a bit of a good match. It was actually a really good match. Like, I think, like, we know Dolph Ziggler can work. We all know Finn Balor can work. And I think these two can definitely put on a good 20-minute classic if a championship is on the line, like an Intercontinental Championship. Something like that. But Drew McIntyre gets involved in this match. Finn Balor wins by disqualification because Drew McIntyre gets involved. He clotheslines Finn Balor. He Claymore kicks Dolph Ziggler. Then he Claymore kicks Finn Balor on the outside. And then we're going to be getting a triple threat match with these three next week. Before we talk about the Intercontinental Open Challenge, I'm going to talk about the NXT call-ups that they are portraying. Now, at first I was confused. I thought these were Raw's call-ups because Vince said he was going to shake things up. Like, at first I thought these were all Raw call-ups and then they're going to do call-ups for SmackDown. But they're saying they're coming to WWE. So it means they could either go to Raw or they could either go to SmackDown. If they show the same people again on SmackDown tomorrow, then we know that these people can go anywhere. But if we see a different set of wrestlers for SmackDown, then I'm guessing that they're just saying that these are the people going to Raw, these are the people going to SmackDown. I don't think they should do that. I'm hoping that these 6 that they have chosen go to both brands, because I don't think it would be fair for either brand to miss out on one of these good talents. So we have Lars Sullivan, who we already knew was being called up, and we had EC3, the top 1%. We had Heavy Machinery, Nikki Cross, and Lacey Evans. Now, I think these call-ups are good. I think these call-ups are pretty good. Like, Nikki Cross, she was destined for the main roster. We knew she was ready. EC3, we knew he really wasn't really going to be we knew he wasn't really going to be in the NXT roster for very long. He was just he just wasn't really going to be winning any championships in NXT. Heavy Machinery, you know, you need tag teams, so why not? But to me, the odd one out of all this is Lacey Evans. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Lacey Evans is pretty talented. I've seen a couple of her matches. But I just don't think she's ready. You know, people were upset with Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, Mandy Rose and Deville all being called up last year, and they were all saying, "Oh, they're not ready, they're not ready, they're not ready." But but then everyone is saying, "Oh, but this selection of talent are a good choice to call up." Well, look at what those four have done. Look at those four women that you have bashed. Look at how far they've come. I know Morgan and Logan haven't really gotten anywhere, but But really, the breakout star was Mandy Rose. She's definitely improved a lot. But back to these selection of people. To me, I don't think Lacey Evans is ready, but we'll see how she goes. I'm just more... I understand a lot of people would be concerned because, they always screw up with these NXT call-ups. I'm pretty confident this time they're going to push some. I'm pretty confident this time. Now, I know we shouldn't be trusting WWE, but I really think Vince actually wants to push Lars Sullivan. I think Lars Sullivan could be destined for a push. Because he's the type of guy that Vince would want. A big, muscly, strong type of guy. I think Lars is going to be okay. As for Lacey and everybody else, I don't know what's going to happen to them. But I think Lars is going to be okay. I am pretty confident Lars is going to be okay. We should have a little bit of confidence in WWE to push these people. But we'll see what happens. Where would I put these wrestlers? Well, if it was up to me, I'd have Lars on Raw. I'd have Lacey and Cross on SmackDown, because SmackDown need more women, because SmackDown's women's roster is pretty small. I'd have Heavy Machinery on Raw, because Raw needs teams. And I'd have EC3 on SmackDown, because I think SmackDown need more faces, because SmackDown don't really have a lot of faces. So you can definitely put him there for that. That's what I would do. We had Dean Ambrose provoke Seth Rollins. That didn't happen, and he tried to call Seth Rollins out, didn't happen, but then he issued an open challenge, and Tyler Breeze comes out. And, this is something that people should really be okay with. This is something people should like. Someone fresh, someone new, Tyler Breeze coming out here to get an Intercontinental Championship match. People have been begging for Tyler Breeze to get used on TV. Finally, here he is. He's finally on TV. Hopefully they utilize him more. On TV on Monday Night Raw, to truly prove to the fans that they have changed. To truly prove that they have changed, they should give Tyler Breeze more matches on Raw. So, Tyler Breeze, the match was alright. Wasn't really anything big. But Dean Ambrose gets the victory with a Dirty Deeds. And every time I hear that word Dirty Deeds, I always have to reference... I know it sounds cringy, but I always reference that AC/DC song, Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap. I have to. It's just so weird. Every time I hear that name, Dirty Deeds, every time when the referee does the 1, 2, 3, I always go, Done Dirt Cheap. Because I think that's just what I think. That's just what I think of when I hear the name Dirty Deeds. I know that may sound cringy to people, but hey, AC/DC is a pretty cool band. They're a pretty cool band. We had Bobby Lashley. This was the stupid segment. This was a boring segment. I didn't care for it. Elias came out, smacked Bobby Lashley in the back with a guitar. Who cares? Shane McMahon booked a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. The Revival, Lucha House Party, AOP, and the B-Team competing for a future Raw Tag Team title opportunity. The correct team won this match. The Revival win here. Very pleased about WWE actually doing the right decision here. You know, they do have a long way to go. I'm not saying WWE's improving at all. I know they've got a long way to go. But all WWE need to do now is that if they can put the belts on the Revival next week, because it was announced that they're going to be doing this match next week. If they can put the belts on the Revival next week on Raw, if they can put the belts on them next week, I guarantee you they will show everyone how tag team wrestling really needs to work. So all WWE needs to do is to put the belts on the Revival next week. I know Bobby Roode and Chad Gable have just won those belts, but to me they're not really a team. I don't really think Bobby Roode and Chad Gable should be a tag team. I love some Bobby Roode, and I'm glad, and I'm happy to see him, you know, with some championship gold. But I just think the Revival would be best suited for those belts, just to show that they can actually work and wrestle, and show how tag team wrestling should really be handled. That's just the way I think. I think the Revival should win. We had a gauntlet match, and this, you know, gauntlet matches to me are kind of, you know, I'm not really a big fan of them. They're a bit long. They're a bit too long. But we started off with Fox and Bayley. Bayley beat Fox. Bayley also beat Brooke. Then James beat Bayley, which was a bit of a surprise. And then we had Ember beat James, and then Natalya beat Ember, and she beat Riot with a roll-up, both of them with roll-ups. And she beat Sasha Banks with a sharpshooter, getting Sasha Banks to tap out. You know, I don't mind Sasha Banks losing. To be honest with you, I just don't. Like, I'm not like these other fans who say, oh, this person deserves. I know Sasha Banks deserves an opportunity. But why do I have to keep reminding you she's a 4-time women's champion? She had that push in 2016. But everybody hated it back then. Everyone hated it when they were actually doing the right thing back then. Maybe that's why they're not pushing Sasha anymore, because you people were so sick of Sasha and Charlotte back in 2016 winning the championship. Maybe that's why they're not pushing her. I don't know, but what I would do, I don't care about her winning the Raw Women's Championship, because I know Sasha Banks isn't going to win it. And why would you put Sasha Banks in the ring with Ruby Riott? What's her name? Ronda Rousey anyway. I'm not saying it would be a bad match, but we know Sasha won't win. You know Sasha won't win, so why bother? That's why I'm okay with Sasha Banks losing, because you know she's not going to beat Ronda. I say move Sasha Banks to SmackDown Live in 2019. That's what I would do. Move Sasha Banks to SmackDown Live in 2019 and have her win the Women's Championship over there. Then you can be happy and and she can have a proper title reign. All in all, I'm okay with Natalya winning, because everyone has been wanting to see Natalya versus Ronda Rousey for a long time. Natalya was the first person people wanted to see her in the ring with the whole storyline back earlier this year. Oh, Natalya would be a good opponent for Ronda Rousey. You know, everyone was saying it. So here you go, guys. You've got what you wanted with Natalya. So yeah, we got some good matches for next week. And Monday Night Raw, from what I can understand, is apparently still going right now, because apparently they're taping the episode on Christmas Eve. So we'll see. We'll be seeing that next week, and it'll be very interesting to see what's going to happen on Smackdown tomorrow. A lot of people are wondering what's going to happen to Paige. Well, I guess we're just going to have to tune in to SmackDown next week to find out what's going to happen to Paige, since the McMahons are now taking all control over Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. Anyway, guys, that's the end of this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that thumbs up if you guys did. Comment your opinions down below on what did you think of Raw. And do you think of Raw? And be sure to follow me on my social media as well at pballantyne95 in the description box down below, so you guys can go follow me if you want to. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for my SmackDown review.